Introductions, a how-to guide to write an explosive beginning. The purpose of an introduction is to establish contact with your audience, breaking that ice and just getting your speech started. And capturing your audience's attention and securing intent, making sure that your audience is interested in what you're having to say and clear about what you're talking about. And to state your purpose. What is the main idea? What is the point of your speech? There are specific parts to an introduction. The same way that ICE is an acronym for step-by-step directions to write an ICE statement, you can remember ACAP for your step-by-step to writing an introduction. Each letter gives you one step to write. So if you write one sentence for each part, you should have 4 sentences for your introduction. The first step is to get an attention getter, something that'll hook your audience. One statement that'll capture their attention so that they want to listen to the rest of your speech. C is connector. It's kind of like a transition sentence between your attention getter and your assertion. Your assertion is like a thesis statement, one sentence that establishes the main point or the main idea of your entire speech. And the last sentence of your introduction is a preview, like a roadmap, listing the main ideas that you're going to be discussing throughout your speech to give your audience an idea of where you're going. Some attention getter ideas are a startling statement. Maybe that's a fact or statistic that really gets your readers and your audience's attention. Maybe it's a quote from a famous person. Maybe it's one that everybody knows or something else that just gets them thinking. A reference to the occasion. Maybe you're giving a speech for a specific occasion and you explain why you're there. A story or an anecdote. This is a story about someone else, not your own experience. And it can be fiction or nonfiction. Like an example of this would be a story about consequences for your actions or something that might be related to your speech. Maybe it could be your own personal experience. Maybe you tell a story about something that you've experienced in your life that brings you to this point to share the speech with your audience. It might be history or background information about the topic you're discussing. If you give history or background information to your audience, they might be more engaged because they understand what you're talking about. You can always add humor, a specific joke that relates to your topic, or a lighthearted thing to break the ice. Or a demonstration. This is where you really show off your talent. If you're giving a speech about something you're good at or something that you just want to share with your audience, you can share that demonstration, like playing the guitar or hockey stick handling or something like that that's related. No matter what you choose for your attention getter, all of them should be related to the main topic of your speech. The next sentence is that connector. The whole point of the connector is to transition from the attention getter to your assertion. It's one sentence that answers, how does my attention getter relate to my main idea? And it might be easier to write your connector after you write the assertion, because if you have your attention getter and your assertion, you can figure out that sentence that goes in between them that makes that connection between both ideas. And then that brings us to the assertion. This is that one sentence that communicates the main idea and the main point of your entire speech. It's also known as a thesis or a purpose statement. And there's a specific formula that you can follow to create a consistent and awesome assertion every time. That's by establishing and communicating your topic, and then establishing either your thoughts, your opinions, your beliefs, or your ideas, and that creates your assertion. So one sentence that clearly communicates your topic and where you're going with your speech in one sentence. And the final sentence of your introduction is your preview. It lists the main points of your speech and it prepares your audience for what's to come. It's just like a roadmap. If you look at this image here, you have these points on your road. Well, those can be looked at as the points of your speech. What are you going to talk about? List those out to your audience in one sentence using commas, and they will have a good understanding of where you're going with the rest of your speech. So for this one, we're going to take a look at an introduction example, and you are going to look for what is done well. Take a minute to read this introduction. We'll pause the video and discuss it. Now we're going to look at this next introduction and think about what can be improved. Take a minute to read this introduction, and we're going to pause the video to discuss which specific items could be improved upon.